Hey guys, welcome back, Profit Takers. It's your girl here, Victoria. And today, before we get started, we got a word from our sponsor, and our sponsor is the Forex Trading Journal Planner, guys. Now, I designed this planner initially for myself, and I decided to share it with the world. All right, so let's get to it. So the question is, are you strong enough to stay in the game long enough? Trading in itself is very tough, right? In trading without any direction or any support, is even more difficult. So I designed this to kind of help you in your journey, all right? It's to help you trade better and start making more profits, be more of a consistent, profitable trader. Okay, so you're going to refine your strategies. It's going to help you to learn the market maker cycle. It's going to help you to identify the level that you are in the market maker cycle. Okay, it's going to help you to enter your trades, sniper entries, right? It's going to help you identify the most popular patterns like the M and W's, and of course the head and shoulders, which is three M's or W's to create that pattern, which is one of my favorite patterns. Okay, so what else is it going to help you do? It's going to help you determine how long the trend is going to last, the best times for you to be in front of the market. Okay, so at the end of the day, you're going to be planning, you're going to be recording, you're going to be reflecting on your trading, right? You're going to be charting your strategies, you're going to audit your trading activities. It's going to make you more efficient, right? It's going to help you to review and improve, right? It's always good to go back to see where you were strong at and where you were weak at, and then you're going to know exactly what to do. Now, when you get this journal, guys, I actually have like several copies. You can get the standard blue one that you see there, or you can get the pink one, and the pink one does come in different colors, guys. And you can just visit my store, the Strong Enough store, and you can also find it on Amazon. It's actually going to direct you to Amazon to buy the journals. I found that it's just a more efficient way of doing business with Amazon, right? So when you do that, you will also get free MT4 indicators, all right? And you'll see the ones that I use all the time on my charts, and they're going to be yours for free. All right, so be sure to subscribe, like, comment, give me your feedback, guys. I really appreciate it. And with that, let's get to the charts. Hello, profit takers. Welcome to today's episode. Today we are going to talk about the market maker trend, 3 times ADR. Now, this is another thing that you could do to help you to identify where you are in the trend and trade with alongside it. And it's not something that it's just all I'm doing here, guys, is sharing some of the things that you could use, and if it works for you, then use it, right? In the previous trends playlist, we talked about the 3 pushes. And then prior to that, we talked about the 3 levels. It's just a good to know, right? It's good to know things so that you are aware of what to do when and where you are. It's not going to be perfect, absolutely perfect all the time. But it's definitely going to be there to help you. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. It looks like I was having some problems with the audio. If you are in this, I see John in the chat. Do you have any issues hearing me? Let me check the audio. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Guys. All right. I don't want to, obviously, if you can't hear me, somebody just shout it out in the chat, and that would be really great. And thank you to the 979 subscribers so far to this channel. We are on to hit our milestone of 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for those of you who are here now and showing up today for this episode. All right, so let's get to it. So I kind of left some of this stuff on here from the last time. I know we've been talking about Aussie, and we were talking about Nas, and we were kind of going over some of the other pairs. Um, so back to, let's look at the Aussie dollar. Okay. See if you can see all that. Take the scroll off of here so that we don't have any problems. All right, so we're going to talk about 3 ADR. Now, ADR is your average daily range, and this is obviously something that may or may not be precise. It's just an average. It's a guide, right? It's a good guide to get you to where you are. So I like to use this indicator. Oh, you can't see the indicator on my screen, but there's this indicator that I have on my screen that tells me what the average daily range is for this particular pair for Aussie. And right now that's 88 pips, right? Now this could have been, so what I did, so 88, so basically what I did, guys, I'm gonna show you how to do this. I've done this on older videos, and you know, this is just something to revisit. So what we're gonna do, because it tells me that Aussies on average 88 pips. So I'm just going to take the rectangle out and I'm just going to measure, right? And oh, look, 88. It was like 88.4. That works for me. So with MT4, you hit copy. To copy this, you hit control, and then you just drag it with your mouse, and then you get 3 of them. So then what you would do is to go ahead and identify your peak, just like that. Okay, once your peak is identified, you just carry on with the other 3. Okay, and the cool thing about it, you know, obviously the cool thing about it is that these areas here, okay, these areas can also be your support and resistance zones. Okay, you can use these areas for entries and exits to kind of guide you. Okay. Just like that. All right. And that kind of covers some of the, I'm going to take some of this stuff off so you guys can see. All right. I want you to have a clear of what the 3 ADR. So look at that, guys. When we had this peak that started back in this early December, we just dropped our ADR here. And it basically literally came through, right? It came through and gave us a 3 ADR as expected. That's like your perfect cycle, right? Your perfect market maker cycle. Now, I also like to do this on H4. So on H4, right? If we go on there, we're going to see now the trend is changing to the bullish, right? It's changing to bullish trend. But for me, it's still kind of ranging up here at the high. I don't really, other than, you know, this indicator down here that y'all can't see is telling me that it's looking more bullish right now. To me, this is just ranging. Aussie's ranging. And I guess once the holidays clear and all the automation of the bots are done with, maybe we'll have a better picture of where we are. But right now, it's still ranging. We're at the high and it looks like we could be climbing, but it hasn't completely, for me, like, you know, broken to that next level, right? We're still just kind of ranging right here in the middle. But with H4 ADR, you would do the same thing. You would take the total 3 of this is 280. Let me see. I can't see my pips. 266. Okay, that would be a total of 266 pips from here to here. So if you're on H4, all you're going to do is take the 266, right? Now you're going to take the 266 and you're going to do that times 3. Now that's your 3 ADR on H4. Okay. Hope that makes sense. So you'll just literally take this. If I can grab that. There we go. I'm going to make a copy. And it's 266, so I'm going to go down to 266, just like this. That's 255, 259, ooh, 260. That works for me. So I'm going to go to H4, and I'm going to do the same thing, right? I'm going to be at the high here, and then I'm going to carry on with my 3 ADR on H4. Okay, so that's how I'll do that. This is kind of carrying over. Okay, there we go. And again, like I shared, you can also draw your lines to help you to identify where the average of this is going to end, right? Because this could be an area where now we can expect prices for the trend to change, right? So that's how you do, and that's how you measure your 3 ADR, okay? Very simple, very simple. Now, so now we've got that done, right? You know, this is just you putting together what it is that, I'm going to take this off here so it's not too much, now we know what it is that we're working with, right? I'm just going to leave that, right? You'll be surprised, right? Yeah, prices are going to go long. It's going to do its thing, but you'll be surprised how price is going to come back to these areas eventually. And you're going to have the areas marked, right? From where price once was, right? So I think that's pretty cool. Can you use the 3 ADR with the levels, the 3 levels? You know, I mean, I think sometimes it works that way, but then sometimes, you know, it just kind of ranges like it's been doing here. And so when it does that, like I mentioned before, you want to just identify your areas of, you know, the high, right? So we had the high here. And then we had the low down here, right? You just want to identify those areas. It's just easier. And I love to use these spikes, right? The stop hunts to identify my highs and the lows where I'm going to mark, right? The order blocks, right? These are your pristine order block areas, right? I love to use those because they're so exact. It's not even funny. Okay. So, so today with Aussie, I did take this one long because we did have equal lows down here. And after yesterday's drop, now this was just a shift in the trend, not necessarily 100% a new peak, but you're going to have your peaks right within the trend. And it's just going to be, you're just going to follow accordingly, right? So when this came back down to the low, right? This is going on into the entry portion of the training, but this thing did come back to the low, and you can see clearly that we had equal lows from yesterday because I did take this thing short yesterday after I saw my 3 pushes, right? And then we're at the high and I took this short, right? So today I noticed that this thing was coming back down to the low again. And since it's just a ranging market and it was looking long to me, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and follow what price is doing here and just go ahead and take this thing long. So I took this thing long and I took it to this market structure. I drew this here in yellow and then that was it. That was a trade. Okay. And so that was all we did with Aussie today. So it's a beautiful move. I love these clear moves like this. And again, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to look for, trying to figure out what the hell GU is doing. And you can come right here to AU and it's just moving nicely. All right. Same goes for EA, the Euro Aussie. And for whatever reason, guys, the Aussie pairs and whatnot, they have been really moving nicely. I've been just really excited to trade them. For me, it's been EA over GA. And I used to love to trade GA. And the reason why I like to trade these is because one, oftentimes it's very clear. And then secondly, you have a big range of ADR, right? So EA, the ADR is 155 pips, right? So 155 pips, you know, I'm asleep, you know, for the first 2 sessions, you know. Asia, I'm laying down, I'm asleep in London, I'm waking up in the middle of London to come here trade in the middle of London and New York. So by that time, if your pair that you're trading doesn't really have a lot of, it's not very giving, then you're not going to have much to trade, right? Unless it's a new peak trade, which are my favorite. So today, you know, again, we did our 3 pushes down, okay? And this one, right? And this one, obviously yesterday I did not take EA long. I was busy doing gold or something. So when I got to the market today, I missed the other opportunity to take this long here, right? But guys, it gave me an opportunity to go short, and I took it because it didn't quite hit the, it came up here and got some resistance. We've already drawn our lines. The black line is the weekly, is the Asia high, and then this other one down here is the Asia low. So I'm not going to sit here and try and fight this thing, trying to think it's going to go long. I'm just going to I'm going with the flow, right? So I went with the flow of that thing, and I entered this just right around there, just where you see it, and I took it down here. And down here meaning 1.57, just right above the quarter point. And that's when I exited that trade and we were done, right? So that was it. Again, this one, you know, it's been doing that range thing just like AU. It hasn't been, you know, doing those beautiful drops that we normally like to see, right? So I'm just going with the flow. All right. So let's look at NAS, because this one today I was really expecting, you know, to go short today. But once I started getting bothered with other pairs, I forgot to come back to look at this. And then when I looked, I was like, oh, again, see how I marked the ADR here? So here's something interesting that you guys should know. And I believe I touched on this on the last video, but let me touch on this again. So if you notice here, this is where we had a reset. So we were already at the peak here, and then we had a nice reset here. And you see how I marked these gigantic candles here, right? That right there is a symbol that this is done, okay? That cycle is done. So what do I mean? Now, one other thing I need to do here is to make my little fancy, let me draw this for y'all so you can get a visual. So remember my other videos, we're talking about, this is the market maker cycle, right? We're going to always have, you know, 1 push and then 2 push and then 3 push and then 4 push. So once that thing comes back up here to the low and we get a signal to go long, that usually represents that the cycle is done. But there's some times where all these 3 pushes are going to be finished within 1 day and with 3 bars. Okay, so then now you're expecting to go into some kind of consolidation, you know, and again, it was, the holidays, right? So it wasn't like a pretty W here and then another M, right, to repeat the cycle. But once that happens and it does not break, right? If it does not break the structure and gives us the indication that we're going long, then obviously we have another reset, right? Sorry, this is not pretty. And usually when that happens, the ADR starts again. So you go ahead and draw your boxes again, your 3 ADR, you have your average, right? So that's what you would do whenever you see that happening. Okay, and I just wanted to point that out because that's very important. All right, so so today, one thing, I wasn't paying attention to this one, guys. Like I said, I was busy trading AU, gold, and EA. And I was looking at CAD. I want to talk about the CJ too, but and this is going to be another video where we talk about the days after the peak, right? And this day I was like, oh, okay, I'm looking to go short here. I was like, okay, I'm looking to go short on this one. You know, that was my initial guess. I looked at it, I put it in the chat. I'm like, okay, guys, I think I'm going to go short here. But I didn't even take, excuse me, I didn't even take it short. Excuse me, guys. I don't know what's going on with me. But if you see here, this is the second day. I want you guys to pay attention to this because when I do my days after the peak, hopefully you guys can see that all right. I think you guys can see that all right. If you notice this, and you're going to notice this a lot, the second to third day after the peak, because usually you can get a nice push down, like usually second 2 days after the peak. And again, this is a reset. So maybe I was getting a little too confident and like, okay, this is going to drop, right? Because it was coming up here. When I came to the market, I was like, oh, we're getting a little bit of some resistance here. So I'm just going to wait and then I'll come back to it and see what happens, right? So the resistance turned into support, right? And so it reminded me that, hey, we're in 2 days. We're 2 days after the peak. So if prices are at the low, like we got our peak signal here, right? The little, you can probably see here that prices are at the low. This right here, this cycle could be complete, right? This cycle could be complete, and we might not even get, this thing might not even come back down here for a while, right? We might just forget about this for a while. You usually, sometimes you can get 1.5 to 2 ADR, and this is almost 1.5 ADR, right? And then the cycle, the trend changes. So you have to be mindful, right? Especially on these resets, right? Especially when you see the price has reset, you may not get a full 3 ADR, and then boom, you get a peak right here, and then all of a sudden, all this tiny low volume. And again, it's the holidays, so I wasn't expecting to do a whole lot anyway. But if whatever it was going to give me, I was going to take it. But again, I was looking at something else. I wasn't even paying attention. So all I'm saying is be mindful that you may not get all three, especially if it's a retest. And again, this was going into the third cycle of going into the short. This might, again, we might be able to get here, come short, retest off of this and go long again. Finally, I have really no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. But I want you guys to know that 2 days after the peak, oftentimes, if prices are sitting at the low of the day, right, then just expect this thing to go long. Expect it to go long, and expect it to go to where price once was. So this was the area to take your profits right there and just be done for the day. So from that area, which was 10,750, to this area right here, which I don't know exactly. I'm going to have to bust out my little crossfire thing here. 1088. What is that? 10884. Yeah, so that was it, right? And that trade was done. Okay, so I hope that made sense when we're looking at 3 ADR. We're using this as an average. I like that this thing did happen today, and I was able to talk about it because it is it did not go all the way to the third, because again, this is the third cycle short. And so today, not only that, even on our normal market conditions, the second day after the peak, if prices reach the low, then expect to take it long. Sometimes you can get a really good trade the second day, which is right here. I'm gonna clear all that. Let me show you what I mean. I'm gonna draw this again. Okay. This right here is your new peak, right? And this is the date, right? This is it right here. Dang, guys, excuse me. This is the trade that usually is a really good trade. 2 days after the peak. That's an awesome trade to take short, right? If you are going short, or to go long if you're going long, right? It is an awesome trade. But just remember, if like it happened today, prices were already at the low 2 days in 2 days. So that just simply means change your mind, look to go long, take it to where price once was, and be done for the day. And then we're going to see what happens tomorrow. Are we going to continue to go long? Or is this thing going to reverse here and then we're going back short? I have no idea. And then clean up right here at the end, right? That's another option that could happen, right? So those are your options and, things that could happen in the market, from based off of my experience of what I've seen and how I count these things and look at them. So when you're at the market, guys, just be mindful of the things that could happen, and just be ready for whatever. Okay. You can expect here like, oh, it's 2 peaks. I'm going to go short today. I just like, oh yeah, I'm going short. And then when I came back, I was like, oh no, we're not going short. We're at the low, right? Like those little things, those little details that you need to be mindful of. All right. So I hope you guys got some value here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. We have our locals information in the description there, guys. You feel free to drop your charts in there, ask questions. You know, I'll be here to help. And thank you for those who were able to catch this live, and for those who are going to catch a replay. I really appreciate your time here. You could be anywhere, but you chose it to be here with me today, or whenever day that you watch this. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video.